Hopefully you'll get. All right, guys. Well, welcome to Results Driven by RW. I'm excited. I'm RW. Want to bring you into what we're doing on tonight. Want to really jump into and deal with the accountability aspect. A lot of times people within business, within life, we can be accountable to ourselves, but sometimes our accountability can turn into excuses and more reasons why we can't do something, because I believe we have an inner critic. And that inner critic always keeps us off balance in the aspect that he always tells us what we can't do instead of what we can do and what we should be doing. And also sometimes looks for an excuse on why not to do what we should be doing. So I think it's important that we kind of dive into why do we need accountability, why people fight accountability, and why it's really something that even more so now than ever, I'm seeing through my clients that people really need someone to be accountable to that's going to be honest with them. They're going to let them know, be tripping and be okay with being accepting the fact, because not everybody can accept. And this is something I want you to think about. Right now, you have all these wonderful superstars out there in the world. You got LeBron James, you got, you name it, sports, and not even sports, acting. I have a client, her name is Kim Flowers, and she has an acting agency. And so she coaches actors, like big actors. But when you look at it, most of the people that are coaching these people are people that are telling them what they're not doing right or making them go further than they want to. And that's really what I think a good coach will do. All right. So tonight, I want to, like I said, I know you're busy, you're running, you're gunning. I'm going to record it. But accountability is our topic. A little housekeeping. If you can, get to a place that you can take some notes. I know some of you guys are moving around, driving, doing what you do, getting presents. Don't forget mine. Okay. I'm just throwing it out there. But we want you to get what you get. And those of you that are giving me presents, thank you so much. I appreciate you thinking about me and adding and giving gifts. Okay, I really appreciate that. Ask questions, definitely in the chat. Matter of fact, do me a favor, open up my chat. Make sure my chat is good. If you can just give us your name and your occupation, put that in the chat for me. Just make sure that our chat is working on tonight. Also, unmute only when called upon. I'm going to give you a few moments of monologue, and then we're going to dive into some serious dialogue on tonight. I want to hear from you, because ultimately, the best way to help you is for you to voice where we can help. It's almost like someone saying, I need help. But then the question is, where do you need help at? And most people will assume that people should know by knowing you, but really that's an unfair assumption. That's one of my 4 agreements. I don't assume nothing. I'd rather know, that way I can help you more effectively. Okay. So with that being said, I do want to jump into this week's wins. I know a few of you guys have been out there working and running, but any wins out there on today? I got a couple that I could report. Got some people that I'm talking to. I know Miss Anissa, she's getting new contracts, making more money, doing all kinds of stuff, even in the midst of the holidays. You guys are running through this 10-day accountability program that I'm on. I'm going to talk about here in a moment. But anyone want to share a week's win? Who we got? What we got?
Unfortunately, I don't have any.
Okay. Well, here's really why I do the wins is because my rock star people that I have on this Zoom, you always look at what you didn't do, but you never give yourself credit for what you do. So maybe you had a goal of working out. Maybe you had a goal of going for other opportunities in your business. Maybe you had an opportunity to do these things and you actually did it. But those are wins. Don't discredit those things. Those are big. And sometimes we make them seem so small, but it's really a big thing. All right. No, nobody has nothing to share tonight. I'm lucky my internet.
No, I got to win.
All right, go with it, Troy. Go with it, coach.
We're rolling with it, but okay, postseason, trying to get personal life back in order. Excuse the noise of the babies, but it's really reflective for them and me. I've moved forward with the membership from my gym to get them into the play area while I get the workouts done. I've been kind of contemplating on this for a while, but yes, Lord. But yeah, I think that right there for me is the win. I'm pretty much 90% done, and that's a form of accountability as well.
Beautiful, Matt. That is a enormous win, because it could be an excuse, but now you made what could have been an excuse an actual opportunity for your kids to develop a habit through dad having a habit. And believe it or not, it becomes just what you do. Well, I don't know what we were going to gym with dad. Of course, they weren't working out, but they knew they were going. And that just alone can establish a new habit. So great job. I like that. I like that a lot. So that is big. Anybody else? Anybody else got a quick win? Now that I made you think about it. All right. Well, I won't beat you up tonight. Oh, what would you get ready to say? I heard you say something. You can't say something to Zoom and not say something.
No, it's just that my final grade was recorded, so I did pass my the semester. So it was recorded this week.
I consider that a win, don't you think?
Yeah, but I was told like verbally, I was notified verbally last week. So that's why for this week, I'm thinking, okay, well, I knew it was coming, but for it to be official, I am grateful for that. So yeah.
Big win. See, these are things, once again, we discredit. We always look at what wasn't, but I want you to always see what is. Even those small wins, they help because they build the big wins. Okay. Good job, guys. Appreciate that. Oh, thanks for sharing. Appreciate you guys. You guys are the bomb. Let's move forward. Business spotlight tonight. Just want to let you guys know that many of you are on the Zoom tonight. I won't go through all of them tonight on what you're doing. I see Sister Sharia is putting that work in while she's watching her Zoom. So appreciate you tuning in. She said, you know what? I'm not going to miss a moment. I'm going to keep moving. So I appreciate you. So let's spotlight Sharia. Sharia has her own hand and nail wellness care place to where you can come, get your feet done, get your toes done, and get a good conversation. And so I definitely highly recommend her. She did my stuff and did an amazing job. She did this one thing with the package, and she put some moisturizer on the brother's toes, and my toes, I think they still moist, and that's been like a while ago. So we appreciate you, Miss Sharia. Big shout out to you and what you're doing as you keep going forward. All right, guys, 10-day accountability check-in. I know you guys got the text. Some of you act like you didn't, but I know you did. So what happens is I found out that in order for you to really dive into finishing this year strong, I wanted to come up with a way to help you. And that way to help you was to do a 10-day accountability check-in. In other words, it's not a challenge. It's one of those things to where I'm just saying, hey, check in. Let's find out what you're doing, where you're doing it, and how's it working? How effective is it? Okay. So I sent out a little text that you guys received. Some of you did, some of you didn't. Some of you followed up, some of you haven't. I'm not concerned either way. I just want you to know that my whole thought behind it is to keep you to a place to where you keep going. I don't want you to miss this season that you have, which is to me prime time. Some people will shut down during this time, which normally I do to a certain extent. Even now I'm on vacation while I'm talking to you, but I've been working, I've been vacationing, I've been working, I've been vacationing. So I've been enjoying the moments while still handling things that I wanted to make sure I took care of before the end of the week. It's never an easy task, especially when the holidays come around, a lot going on. So even more so, I even had some of y'all have the audacity to text me and say, oh, I will text you next week after the holidays. Not. I ain't saying no names, Karen, Dr. K, but I ain't saying no names. But anyways, some of you, I want to make sure you understand that we want to keep you moving. I want to keep you pushing forward in that direction, okay? So the whole goal with the 10-day accountability check-in was to get you to text me your day-to-day activity. I wasn't as much concerned about what you were doing other than that you were doing something. And I know that might be a low goal, but for some of you, it's important to at least have something or someone that you're day-to-day checking in with. I have a guy right now who's a great client of mine. He deals with addiction and with alcoholism. And so every single day we check in, every single day. And for him is vitally important because he needs the accountability to know that someone is there that cares about him and wants him to do well. Now, it might sound like, wow, why would you do that? And I thought about that too. I was like, why? Every single day? Really? Every single day? But for him, it's great because it keeps him focused and knowing that, once again, somebody cares enough about him that he can stay sober and keep going. He's doing a great job. Okay. So it lets me know that it works. All right. Also, to challenge yourself to be accountable. A lot of you guys, the hardest part in your life is being accountable. You're a free spirit. Ain't that the word they use? In other words, you're used to kind of doing things your way. And that's good to an extent to where my thought is, how far has that really gotten you? And some of you, it's gotten you pretty far. But how much further could you go if you had somebody kind of encouraging you and pushing you a little further than maybe you want to go? You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, let's dive into what accountable means. And pretty much it just talks about someone to justify your actions or decisions. And this is important to me because some of these words in this word accountable can be triggers for some. Because some of you, you've been around people that have been controlling. And so you can see accountability as a form and type of control. And that can be true. I believe that a lot of people will hold you accountable. It's almost like a spouse that was really controlling, but trying to call it accountability when really it was just being controlling. They were controlling your life, trying to make you do this, do that. But that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about just someone that cares enough about you that says, hey, I want you to do well. Also, I want to inspect that which I expect. Let me say that again. And some of you might want to write this down in your notes. In life, you need to inspect that which you expect. Don't just say stuff, but don't check up on or follow up on that which you're expecting from people. Okay. I'm one of those people that I'm definitely not a micromanager, but I am one that holds people feet to the fire. In other words, if you say you're going to do something, then I'm going to follow up to make sure you're doing what you said. And that's important because how many know integrity can be an issue? How many know integrity can be an issue? In other words, it can be a part to where if you're not integral to yourself, then it's going to be really hard to be integral to other people. And if you tell yourself you're going to do something, but then you don't do it, then that makes you a liar. And I have people, including myself, that I hate liars. So it's one of those things that actually motivates me to know that now I have to do what I say. And that's actually one of my 4 agreements too, to be impeccable with my word, to make sure that at all costs, I try to do the best of my ability to do what I said I would do. And that's where you want to be, okay? Now, accountability eliminates the time. And I love this thing that I got here, and effort you spend on distracting activities and other unproductive behavior. How many on this Zoom right now know that you do some things that are unproductive? Let me throw up both my hands, okay? I see some other hands are going up. There's a lot of things that we do that we are just spinning our wheels on. We're really not doing anything except marking time. We're acting like we're being, we're busy, but there's no money. That's something I wanted to note on some of you that are checking in. You're talking about all the stuff that you're doing, but in that, it's almost like you're afraid to say you made money or you hit your financial goal. And that's something that you want to make sure that you don't throw to the side because you don't want to do a bunch of work, but have nothing to show for it. You know, I know a lot of great people that have done a lot of great stuff, but it's not good when you live broke and die broke. And the good news is you helped a lot of people, but there should be something coming back to you as you're doing that. So accountability hopefully helps you eliminate a lot of time and effort stuff that you're wasting. And that's why I want you to kind of sharpen a little bit. And we're going to talk about this even more so. Okay. Also, I have some questions I was thinking about as I was working on this. Why do people fight accountability? Matter of fact, in the notes real quick in my chat, real quick, give me a one word that you think why people fight accountability. I know for me, like I said, I heard the word trigger. Some people, the word accountability itself, it triggers people. I don't want to be accountable. I don't need nobody. I can do this myself. And that's good, but can you maybe see how that might not be so good if you have not come to where you really want to be? And like I said, if LeBron James has a coach, if Michael Jordan had a coach, if all these people that you can think of, even actors and actresses and people have had coaches, then what makes you think that you can do it by yourself? Just a thought, okay? But here's what I came up with. I believe accountability is fearful because when you're being accountable, you can be exposed. You can be exposed for what you're not really doing. You know, in other words, when I do an accountability check at the end of the week and say, how much money did you make? Well, I did all these marketing, I did all these tools, I did all this great stuff. Okay, show me the money. In other words, get to a place to where now, not only are you doing all the work, but you're having some benefits that come. And the key being is what is actually happening as a result of your actions, okay? So exposure, I believe, is one way. Come on, what else we got here, guys? Put in the chat for me. Why do people fight accountability? Fear. I like that. I like that. I like that. What else? What else can be a reason why people fight accountability? Type it in my chat. Type it in my chat. I believe some of it's because people will think they're a fraud because now they're saying all these great things and they're what we call perpetrating a fraud. They're looking like they're blessed and doing all these things, but really they're struggling. And they're afraid to actually admit that I'm struggling. To me, accountability helps with that. Also, it makes you sometimes confront the stories you tell about yourself. Like I'm not good enough, or I'm a burden, or I'm not smart enough. And these are things that sometimes we tell ourselves. I call it the inner critic. And that inner critic can actually get you to the place to where you don't do anything because you don't think you're worthy. Like some people, your money block is that you don't think you're worthy for money. So once you get money, you spend it. And you have more of a scarcity mentality. That's why you can't save and invest. Like right now, my struggle is buy a new car or not buy a new car. I really don't want a new car, but I'm probably gonna end up buying a new car, but I really don't want one. So it's almost like now my mindset is more about how can I make money versus spend money. And that's something that sometimes you have to ask yourself. You can't continue to be a consumer and be wealthy at the same time. Now, of course, you can buy and do nice things. That's always great. But if you got more money hanging in your closet than you have in your bank account, then you have to assess what are you really doing. Okay. So just a thought when it comes to the accountability aspect of it. Okay. Also, what are the benefits of being accountable? I think this is important. When you think about it, and you guys in my chat, type it in. What do you think the benefits are of being accountable? Give me some benefits real quick. Go ahead and type it in my chat. What are some benefits of being accountable? If I'm accountable, this can happen. If I'm accountable, that can happen. All right. Now, here's what a few things I came up with. I think accountability accelerates your performance. I believe it helps you measure what you're doing. I believe it helps you to keep you engaged. In other words, get you to the point to where now you stay focused and engaged in what you should be doing. I'm going to talk about this here next week about your goals. And instead of just writing them once and just looking over them a year later, I look at my goals every day. That's accountability for me because it keeps me to where now I can keep me engaged in my actual goals because you will get off track. Okay. It's not that you won't, you will get off track. The question is, can you refocus quickly to get back in position? That's the key. Now, accountability will keep you responsible. It will make you be responsible to what you should be doing. Many of you do this with your kids, but you won't do it with yourself. Let me say it again. You will hold your kids' feet to the fire on whatever you tell them to do, but when it comes to yourself, you won't be accountable to you. Okay? Also, accountability will validate your thoughts and ideas and make sure they're true. Because sometimes I get stuff from people, and here's how the conversation goes. Well, I believe this, and I believe this, and I believe it, and all of it's wrong, all of it's erroneous, all of it's not true, but in their own minds, they've made a decision that it is. And so they'll say, don't you agree? And I'll look at them as lovingly as I guys do. You know how loving I am. And I'll say, well, sounds like you've convinced yourself. And sometimes in life, you've convinced yourself of something that's not true. They don't love me. They don't care about me. That's not true. And once you confront those things, it'll be a game changer. Guys, once in my marriage, my wonderful marriage of 29 years almost, I got to a place to where I finally said, my wife will never do anything intentionally to hurt me. Never. So now anything that pops up, immediately my mind goes to, she will never do anything to hurt me. And once again, it helps me have a real thought, not just something I'm thinking. Okay. All right. So those are important. Those are important things. Now, real quick, I want to jump into this conversation because I believe this is something that I want to hear from you. Because when it comes down to it, there's got to be reasons why you believe accountability is good, or you believe accountability is not so good, or maybe how do you feel about accountability? When I even say the word accountability, what does that mean to you? Now, Troy, I'm gonna start with you because you're at the top of my screen. I know you're with the kids, so we totally understand. So no need to apologize for the kids because they're being kids. But for you, what does accountability mean?
Accountability is self-reflection. It's a metric of sorts to help me hold myself to a certain standard. Here, brother. Um, like you said, there's good and bad with it. So like right now, I say my accountability is on the weaker side, but it's not a but. I know that it has to strengthen up, especially going into this new year, as I'll be able to kind of reflect on uh, goals for the new year, right? Uh, but that's pretty much it.
Okay. Now, do you see it obviously is a good thing, but what's the struggle with the accountability you think for you?
Say that last part one more time.
I said, what do you believe the struggle with accountability, or is it just more so the time to be accountable, or is there something else that's underlying that?
I think like my body is like weaker. I feel I'm just not where I was at before, where I was kind of like more optimal. And then I'm thinking that in my mind that I'm still there. So like we can make that example with my physical fitness. And sit down, buddy, right? That's what I'm telling myself. But at the same time, it's not a sit down quick. It's just, okay, I was once there, I will get back there. And then if we're talking about time, yeah, with the schedules transitioning, it's like, whoa. But I think it just gets down to becoming more efficient. So I need to hone in on that portion of it.
Perfect.
Time management. I think everything is time management, really. But at what point is it time to rest versus like, you know, reflecting and being critical of self? I think that's why I get lost sometimes. So I rest and I get back up and I try again, you know, and we go from there.
Man, I think that's great. Those are valid because ultimately, and this kind of goes into balance, like you just said, and time management, because now it's almost like, and here's how my mind clicks. I have to make time for me. I'm not effective or as effective as I want to be if I don't take care of me first. That's a different concept. And I know I've heard some people, my mantra, of course, self-care is not selfish, but I believe that if I take care of me, then I can be an effective father, mentor, coach, all the things that God has given me to do, only because I have to make sure I'm good. And that way I can hopefully give people good stuff because I'm in a good place. So I totally get it, man. But I think you're in a good place. Just keep moving forward, doing what you do. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thanks for responding. Thanks for conversating. All right. Let's go with Miss Cherie. I know you're doing your nails. Can you mash that little play button and talk to us while you're doing your little nails? I want to hear what you think about accountability. How you feel about that? She was like, I gotta take care of these nails, man. Y'all over here playing around. Man. I'm trying to make this paper. All right, Cherie, keep making that paper, girl. Keep making that paper. Sade.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Great. Accountability. When I say the word accountability, how do you feel about that?
I think of responsibility.
Okay.
I think about things, whether it's something that you need to do or something that you haven't done, you have to hold yourself responsible, regardless of the situation, especially when you're trying to, make progress, you're trying to get somewhere. Um, like for me, for instance, I have to hold myself accountable, like you talked about time management, because I know like right now I'm in the brink of, it's so much fraud going on right now. So it's just like it's a whole lot of work. But I have to hold myself responsible for my time management. So I would definitely need to, you know, focus more on having that time away where I'm not so much dealing with my um, job per se, and take more responsibility of working out my time management, which I have been working on it all this week. Um, but yeah, I would say that when I think of accountability, I think of responsibility.
Beautiful. Now, what do you think is one of the biggest reasons what hampers people being accountable?
Um, I would say procrastination. I would say procrastination would be one of the reasons why people, you know, don't want to hold themselves accountable, because it's like you try to make up excuses of why you're not doing something, or why you didn't do something, or why you need to do something, whatever the case may be, instead of just going ahead and doing it. And you start finding yourself being comfortable with making those excuses. You find yourself being comfortable procrastinating because you don't want to hold yourself accountable. And like we said earlier, it also is like a fear factor too, because people hearing that, they don't want to actually, step up to the plate, or they feel like they're going to fail, whatever the case may be. But I would say procrastination and definitely fear would be the main reasons for me, I would say, in regards to like people not wanting to hold themselves accountable.
Wow. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's important. That's powerful. I love the different talk. I like the conversations, guys, because to me, that way we can see it from different perspectives. When we stop seeing things from another person's perspective, I think we get closed-minded, and we can only see it from our way. But thank you so much for sharing. That's good stuff right there, especially a single mom with what, 3 kids, 4 kids. I mean, hey, I guess time and everything else plays a factor. So appreciate you even being on the Zoom, being consistent. Deshaun, I know you're here. We're chilling. We're kicking it. But when you think about the word accountability, how does that hit you?
So when I think about accountability, there's definitely, as one of the brothers earlier was saying, a level of self-awareness involved, because you got to know where you're trying to go to know what you should be accountable to or what you should be doing. So if there is no direction, there's really nothing to be accountable to. But once you have that direction, then it's a matter of with what I think it was Sade who was just talking was saying, it's the comfort zone, because if it wasn't uncomfortable, if it was enjoyable, it was pleasurable, then wouldn't we all do it? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's applicable to a lot of different arenas in life. Like when we talk about getting in shape or fitness, I always give clients pretty much 3 legs to the table, right? They got their training, the resistance training, the weight training. They got the cardio, they got the nutrition. Now, some people like the cardio, you like the cardio. Some people like myself, we like the training. But most people don't like the nutrition, man. I don't know what it is, So
I like to eat.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? We like
People
to
are
eat.
hungry in Africa, starving.
Yeah.
In third world countries, in the Philippines,
Real talk, man. So, and that just transfers just like in my business, making calls, calling people who have never spoken to me that aren't really expecting my call is not always that pleasurable. It's a numbers game, but it's a necessary thing to move the needle forward and get me towards that direction I'm trying to go. So that's what I think of accountability.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate those insights too. Those are good stuff. I know you're working towards it, and it's important. I think we all keep and stay accountable to what we're trying to accomplish. All right, cool. Gloria, what do you have? What do you, when I say the word accountability?
Yeah, excuse me. I'm trying to get myself organized here. I'm gonna have to get away from you because.
Get away.
So now the first question you asked was.
When I say accountability, what is that trigger for you? What is that state?
Okay, and I think I put in the chat initially when we were speaking, I put that it was growth, because when you have to deal with accountability, it pushes you to another level. And now there's growth involved. Now there's change that's involved that has to happen in order for you to get to the next level. And so that was 2 of the things there. And that's not always a comfortable feeling when you have to begin to do things differently and you have to step out of your comfort zone. So that change and that growth can be a hard thing for some people. And then I think you had asked the question, what does accountability actually do? And I put, it helps you to stay focused. Because when you have that goal in front of you, when you have someone there that is keeping you accountable to that, then it pushes you to kind of do more, or at least to stay on task, so that when that person contacts you, you don't have that disappointment, well, I didn't do what I was supposed to do. So you get motivated to do more.
Good. That's really good. I think that you said a mouthful there. Matter of fact, I had a couple people that ain't on this call because they didn't want to be accountable tonight. They were like, well, and I get it. Like I said, but the key is I'm here to help. And whether you get engaged with everything that we do, I'm not upset. I promise I'm not. I just always know my thought is to do you good. My thoughts to make you go to the next level and to push you closer to your purpose, to your goals that you told me when we sat down. Okay, that's always going to be my mission. Exceptional. You are exceptional, Miss Dr. K. When I say the word accountability, what does that mean to you?
Sorry, I'm driving, so it's been cutting in and out. I'm not sure who was speaking earlier, but the young lady said something about responsibility, so I do have to agree with that. But when I do think about accountability, it's not only on a personal aspect or in the personal realm. I think of business as well, right? So at the end of the day, when you're working on a project, when you're trying to aspire to some type of goal. So again, whether it's personal or professional, and if a person is not held accountable for their for what they have been assigned to do, assigned to complete, and then on the personal level for what you are trying to achieve in your life, then you're letting down yourself. And as far as being on the professional side of things, you're letting down the team. And at the end of the day, if you do try to achieve some type of goal and you fail, it doesn't mean that you should give up, right? And so I think the person who is there to hold you accountable is there to be a coach and to help you to pick up the pieces and move forward, and then do an assessment. You know, when you're trying to do something and you fail, that person is there to help you to do an assessment to figure out, what did you do wrong? Where did you go? How can you improve? So whether if you're uncovering if the person is procrastinating in the business realm, if you didn't have enough resources, so on and so forth. So it's just responsibility at the end of the day. But I look at it in a broader sense, personal and professional.
Wow. I love that. Once again, that perspective is huge because it allows us to know that, I mean, it is responsibility. And I think for me, once again, I always throw myself under the bus, is I never want to hold people accountable for what I won't hold myself accountable to.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what you're saying. You know, it pretty much, depending on how you go when it comes to doing what you say you're going to do, then the team's going to flow the same way. And
Yes.
sometimes people feel like imposters, I think, is when they are expecting of people more than they expect of themselves. And so it's almost
True.
like I feel like I'm some kind of fake, and only really you feel like that way, and not you. I'm talking about just some of the people that
Yeah,
are
in general.
yeah, in general, they actually feel that way because they're not doing the things that they say, because they're not being accountable to anyone but themselves. And it's easy to talk yourself out of doing something. I know for a fact it's easy for me to talk myself out of doing something. My biggest thing I'll say is I deserve it. I earned it. I worked too hard. so trust me, I get it. I get it 100 for where it makes a big difference. All right, guys. One more quick question. I'm going to ask you guys, and we're almost done. My biggest thing tonight, and last thing, is how can I, or what can I hold you accountable to? Just one thing that you say, now, Coach, if you can help me with this, this will get me over the hump. What would that thing be? And let me start back with Troy. Troy, what would that one thing be that if I were to say, Troy, how can I help you be accountable in blah, blah, blah area? How can I help you?
Hmm. Uh, don't know. I think I like these zones, but I think like the one-on-ones and everything that was going on before the season was great. I think I'm in a place again where I referenced earlier. I'm in a metamorphosis, so I think that I just gotta kind of like go with the punches. I think I saw your text. Uh, I don't know if that's like my style, but I knew the direction it was going. I don't know. I think maybe just conversation. I mean, like again, I think I feel long-winded right now, but I'm tapping back into that, right? I'm stepping back on the mantle. So it's exciting. And then like this specific conversation was great because I've been reflecting on it personally. But I think that conversation, getting back to our one-on-ones and, just continuously tapping into these weekly Zooms will benefit. I don't think that anything that you're doing really is outside the norm of, efficiency. It's just whatever works for that person, with their strengths and weaknesses.
Beautiful. I appreciate that, man. I think ultimately each one of you, I do enjoy the one-on-ones. I got to be honest. I do enjoy them because to me, that way I can be specific in what you're trying to accomplish. But I do understand the dynamics of time, finance, and all those things too. So those of you that can do those things it's amazing to me because I know that I believe we can reach some goals a lot faster together than we ever could apart. And I'm definitely a witness myself, on working with people that are on that next level. So Troy, I get that, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. We're going to do it. Matter of fact, we got scheduled for the first of the year. So I'm excited and looking forward to getting back to our one-on-one. So I appreciate you. Yeah. All right. Sharday, what can I do? One thing that you say, man, if you can keep me accountable in this area, it would help me.
That's actually a hard question. I would right now. My main thing that I'm like struggling with the most is my time. It's just because the season that I'm in right now with my job. So it's just like that's like the hardest thing right now for me is my time management. So maybe like coming up with some type of like schedule or something. I don't know.
No, I think you're on the right page on that because you, especially being once again, the person that you are and doing the things you're doing, it really just boils down to how can I have more time? And I have a plan for that, especially for you. Only because I know that a lot of the stuff that we can deem as important can maybe not be as important versus some of the things we need to make important, we aren't making important because they might be the hard things. I'm actually reading a book right now called Doing the Hard Things. And you're not one, and maybe very few of you guys in the Zoom, but I am, to where I'll push the hard things back sometimes, do the easy stuff, and then the hard stuff gets left in the cut, and I got to go back and get that. And by the time I go back and get it, it's been too much far off. So it's kind of one of those things. So no, I get that, but yeah, there's definitely a way I can help you with that, no doubt. We'll have to get you on a call and sit down and go through that. All right,
Okay.
thank you, Aaron. I appreciate you, Deshaun. How can I help you? What is that thing I can do to help you to be accountable? What is that thing you say, you know what, if I can be accountable or held to the fire on this thing, it would change the game for me in the first quarter of next year?
Probably just be making more calls throughout the week. Probably right now it's Tuesday, Thursday. I think I'll add like Saturday or something. So add the third day and getting like, 60 plus a week, at least 20 a day.
Okay. So pretty much doing what you're doing now, which is helping you make those calls.
Yeah,
Making those calls.
Yeah, because it's easy to, like you said, we had this conversation. It's a lot of productive things that aren't urgent that feel good doing before, or procrastinating to what I really got to do. To where when it's time to really do what I really got to do, because I stopped making calls at 7 p.m. I was like a hard cutoff time. So the closer I get to that time, the easier it is to not do it.
And it's so crazy because I sat where you sat, because in my business, when I first started, the only way I met and got clients was through the calls. And so I'd have to make the calls to get the clients. And the calls were petrifying to me, until I had to come to the mindset of, okay, you want to make the money. So in order to make money, you got to make the calls, because the calls translate to the money. And so I get it. I feel you. And I'm here to help. And absolutely, man, I got you when it comes to helping you make those calls. And like we did the other day, I think I told you, man, call me back when you're done. Or we'll talk after you're done. And so it makes a difference, because then now you know that, hey, I'm waiting for you to get this thing done. And it helps me and helps you, because you've actually helped me do the things I need to be doing that I wasn't doing. So appreciate you, man. We work both ways. We are helpers one to another. So I
Yes, sir.
thank you for keeping me.
Likewise.
You're one of my accountability partners. So I appreciate you for keeping me accountable when it comes to the gym and fitness and nutrition. And even though I fight you on it, I appreciate you not slapping me too hard.
You know,
Here's the difference when your coach becomes your coach. And even though he might be your relative or somebody close to you, they step into that coach zone. And he stepped into a coach zone on me, and he slapped me one day and he said, look, I don't care how much running you do. You can't outrun a bad diet. And man, you talking about the coach, it's like, really, dude? That's what you're gonna do? But I appreciate that accountability, because it helped me now to be better. And I'm getting much better. So thank you so much for that. All right,
Yes,
Gloria, what do you got there? What, let me, I know you got to move into position. And hold on one second, let me mute myself. But how can I help you?
Okay, all right. I put mine's, and mine's is kind of along the same line as, uh, I'm sorry if I'm messing up your name, but basically mine's is prioritizing my time management. I can do the time management, but as you say, sometimes I do the busy work, the easy work first, and then come back to the hard work. And so mine's is making sure that I'm tackling all of the money making, the big things that need to be done first, because sometimes it's a little more difficult. And maybe I'll say, I'll get to that one later. Let's get this one out of the way right now. But yeah, making sure that time management is prioritized. And so that's where I'm coming into play, is prioritizing the important stuff first, and then getting to the others, the busy work.
You know what? I appreciate you. And absolutely, I got you. Sounds like, once again, we need to do a good time management class, but also to individually helping you guys set up your own schedules that would work, where you can actually get more done. Like, I prioritize my stuff by money. And I know some of you might be like, oh, you prioritize your stuff by money? Yes. Because when you value yourself and value what you do, and right now I'm on a mission, 2023 is on my goal sheet, to pay my mom a check for $5,000 a month and retire her. With the other monies that she has coming in, it would put her in a place to where she doesn't have to be concerned about money. And so anytime I get to a place to where I get off course, it brings me back to what I'm trying to accomplish. And what it does to me personally is keeps me really focused. So I understand. And like I said, that's why even I just got the book. It's called, and you guys can pick it up, it's called Doing the Hard Thing. And it's a slap you around book a little bit to say, look, you can't keep running from the stuff that you know you can do. Running to the stuff you can do, and running away from the stuff that you know you have to do the things you really want to do. In other words, in order to get the life you really want, you're going to maybe have to do the things you really don't want to do. And that's kind of the way that works. But it's a part of the plan. All right. So I appreciate that. Gloria, I really appreciate you allowing me to coach you. It's not often that people can actually have people that are close enough to them and still say, no, I need what you offer. So I appreciate that. And all right, let's keep moving forward, and we got you. I definitely got you. All right, speaking of which, Terrence, how you doing, young man? Good for you to chime in. I know you're busy running, gunning, doing your thing, but our topic tonight is on accountability. And I dealt with how some people run from it. Some people are triggered by it because they were taught accountability was a bad thing. It was evil because people trying to get in your business and all that stuff, when sometimes, depending on the person, is different. Like for me, my accountability is making sure you stay on course to what you said. And I need to make sure that's clear, guys, with all of you. I've talked to all of you, and I know the individual things that you want. So anytime I'm pushing you in an area is because I'm pushing you in an area of something you said, hey, I need to do that. So my question, last question, Terrence, is what can I do to help you in an area that you need to be held accountable to? What is that thing that I can say? You can say, hey, if you can help me stay accountable to this thing, I'll do better in the first quarter of 2023.
Okay. Well, it's kind of like simple, but some might think it's complex. But what we're doing right now, like showing up and accountability, and even though I'd be late at times because of work, but like the things that I told you I want to accomplish and me showing up, like you said, I have 3 videos, and I was able to do that because it's off of, I guess, in a good way, of fear of not being a letdown, not only for you, but for or everybody in the chat, but for also myself. And that's pretty much what you're doing. It's like accountability and just reminding me of the things that I want to do. And we tend to sabotage ourselves. So like I got a time management schedule myself, and I got this book called Getting Things Done. I've been reading through it again by David Allen. Oh, I can't see, it's a green screen. But I got this little system set up where it's like time blocks of, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And every day I get up and I'll be like, in the morning, I'll be like, the 3 things that's gonna double my income, I gotta focus on them first. So yeah, I think that's what helping. All because of you letting me show up here every week.
Oh man, well, I'm glad you're here, man. And definitely, I think the key is, and I know you guys know this, but I say it anyway. I want you to be successful. I need you to be successful. There's so many people out there that need you as an example. Some of you are going to be first family multimillionaires, and I need to make sure that you stay that course, because you becoming who I know you can be is more important than anything else. Let's go to, thank you for sharing, Terrence. I appreciate that. Exceptional. Dr. Karen, what's that one thing I can do to help you? What can I hold your feet to the fire on? What's that thing for you?
I've been here thinking about it. My number one issue is waking up on time. I'm still struggling with that. So I know what I have to do. I do get things done. However, I don't get them done at the time I promised myself that I would get them done. So even though our coaching sessions started, what was it, this week? Yeah, on Monday. I've been able to complete, I've been able to complete a lot this week. So thank you for that. But at the same time, I'm not getting things done at the time I'm supposed to. And one thing that I've always done for years, every single day I have a to-do list. So I have a to-do list, like a daily, a weekly, monthly, so on and so forth, because it feels so good to just scratch things off as I get them done, as I complete. So again, it's just getting them done at the time that I promised myself, and especially getting up early. Many of you don't know this, but I got laid off about 2 months ago. So my schedule has been all over the place. And it was right after my surgery. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be transparent right now. I've just gotten used to getting up at whatever time to just take my son to school and then get back to the house and get whatever I can get done. But I need to be more disciplined, and yeah, it's more so getting up earlier and just getting those things done at the time I promised myself. And we talked about that integrity. And so I guess I still have a lot more work to do.
Well, the good news is, which I'm proud of you, is that you made the attempt, you jumped on board, and you got right to it. You're going to hit and miss as you're starting anything. So please, guys, hear me in this. Anything that's new, you're not going to bat 1,000, but give yourself a little leeway. I always do the 80-20 rule. If you can do 80%, that's good. The other 20% will come, but don't get caught up in the 20% you ain't doing. Remind yourself of the 80% you are. Not to let you off the hook, but to give you a reprieve of that. You can still it's good that you're moving in the right direction. And that's really more important, because to me, momentum and consistency is what helps you get closer to what you're trying to accomplish. I know for me personally, getting up early, just like you, I was always a night person. I'd be in the bed midnight.
Yes.
I was insomniac. I had all them issues. Now it's totally different, but it took time to get there. Now it's more automatic. You know, I get up. I don't need an alarm clock to get up. I'm already up. I beat my alarm clock most times, but that wasn't something that just happened. That was
Mhm.
time invested. So you're putting the time in, and I guarantee you, and hear me, before the end of January, you're going to meet this goal so to the point that it won't even be a thing. You'll even wonder to yourself, I don't know why I was tripping. So just keep hanging. You got this.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Lee, I know you just jumped on, but man, I got my peoples here. I appreciate y'all. Y'all, you guys, the supporters are crazy. But what would you say? And I dealt with accountability. I know you jumped on a little late, but just really accountability could sometimes, as I said earlier, can be one of those triggers. And I'm learning that word trigger now, because words can be triggers for people, and it can be taken a way that's not good because of the way that it was given before. So for you, when I say the word accountability, what is that one thing that I can help hold you accountable for that would push you forward in the first quarter?
Like, I think you do a good job already. Um, like, you see little things that can be implemented, or you give me ideas on and of directions to go. So I think that's a great benefit. You know what I'm saying? Getting my feet wet, you know what I'm saying? Getting inspirational ideas. So things like that are of great benefit. Me being able to ask questions, and you kind of giving me a little bit of direction based on kind of like the vision that I'm laying out. Like you said, you seeing the vision and then saying, okay, based on what you said, this is what you could be doing to get that going. You know what I mean? Then I have like a map that I can just, sit there and attack. You know what I mean? I got a bullseye to fire at, because you could take a bunch of good ideas and put it on one road. That makes sense.
Man, that makes a lot of sense, man. Well, I appreciate you. Biggest thing is, and for all of you guys, is I appreciate you allowing me to speak into your life, because you don't have to allow that. But I appreciate that. I know, like I said, my thoughts is, man, I guess I live such abundance. So I believe everyone can have what they want. And I believe you can have it all. I truly do. And so anything I can do to play a part in that, I'm excited about. I was actually able to go to one of my mentees, Judge Mari. I went to one of her events the other day, and man, she shouted me out so much to where I almost had to, if I was white, I'd be blushing. I mean, she just shouted me down on just how much I've helped her get to that point. For those of you that don't know, she's been running for judge, but it was all from a conversation we had in a parking lot. And I told her, I said, you've got to do what you've been gifted and called to do. And from that moment, she started running, and she ran the race, and boom, now she's a judge, got her own courtroom. And it's a beautiful thing to see her in those positions. And so I get excited about that. All right. Well, I think Sharia, can you hear us? I know you're working. But when you look at that accountability word, what does that mean to you? And what can I do to help you be accountable? What can I hold your feet to? And I appreciate you being on Zoom while you're working, girl. You're putting in that work and doing Zoom. Boy, that's what I call multitasking.
Well, I didn't want to do nails, but I don't say no to good money. So you know how that goes. It's my Hanukkah week. First of all, thank you for asking me the question, Coach. What could you do for me? You do a lot, actually, a whole lot on being just accountable. First, what accountable means to me is integrity. Someone who will be honest with you, whether it's good or bad. I think that's important. I don't want to put on an outfit personally and I look fat and I ask you, do I look fat? And you be like, nah, girl. And you see all this belly out sitting out here. Let me know. Tell me the truth so I can fix myself. As a coach, you already do that. I feel like I'm your player that, how you say, before Kobe, drafted, the coach is hard or this star player because he already know what he gonna do to put you in the game.
Yeah.
That's how I feel with you. I know that you're, how do I say? I don't want to say pushiness, but you get results with me. Your dedication just with me means a lot, encouraging me because I don't have a lot of encouragement. Sometimes you are letting your light shine and people are trying to dim your light. I get that a lot. And you just encourage me to believe in myself, to know that I'm loved, because that was a big one due to childhood trauma. I didn't feel love. So you're very good at that, making me feel love. But for me, it's just writing the plan. As long as you write the plan, look, I know how to read the plan and I'm gonna set out to play. So that's all you do for me, is just keep writing out the plan. Because know that I'm a player that's gonna play any position that you need me to play to make our team better. Because we already on a winning team. We just gotta show the rest of the world that. So I just appreciate you, Coach. I appreciate your family because they don't know it. You guys are a whole function network. It's not just you. I appreciate that my first lady is here with us. I appreciate that your sons are here. You don't realize how that is a big example, that it's just not you and your family running with your vision. It's your entire family. I'm a married woman with a family, so that's something that I can model. I can measure that. I could stand my point to that because I could see you're living that, so I can live that. You know how I am. I'm not going to follow a lie and I'm not going to submit a lie. So me being on your team and being your team player, you know that you're not a lie, because I'm going to test all things too and hold fast what is good as well. And you have passed, you have passed many of my tests. And that's why we're here standing. And I can't wait to see the results of my business, everyone's businesses, and just the table of the results driven. I can't wait to see where this is gonna go in the next 5 years, because it's gonna be something great. I see business incubators. I see multi-millionaires. So I'm just excited about it.
Wow. Well, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for being on the team and for staying and doing what you do. And yes, trust me, I have a plan. I have a plan. I promise you I do. It's just a matter of, as you said, when you're working with people, you got to get the people to see themselves first and then also see all aspects. Because one thing I'm going to let you guys know up front is I play to finish. I don't play to not finish. And I don't play just to be, I know some people play to compete. I play to dominate, just so you guys know. I don't play to compete. I don't believe there's no competition in what I do. I don't believe there's anyone that can do the things that I do. But once again, that's a mindset. And that's something that once we keep going, I want you to develop your own mindset, your own mantra, your own things that you want. I want to be a blessing to my mom. That's something for me. I want to be a blessing to my kids, my wife. We're all on vacation together. I'm very blessed to be a man that can say that, I don't roll by myself. I want to bring my whole squad with me. And so I believe you guys can do the same thing. And I'm excited, and I know what the time is spent. So I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight, especially a mini vacation that I'm on, which I appreciate. So I appreciate you guys answering the question for me. Next week, real quick, next week, I want you to do me a favor. I'm going to have a strategy session right here live next Thursday. I want you to have 23 goals for 2023. 23 goals. Why 23? Because it's 2023. But if you can, at least 23 goals. I want you to be personal goals. And when I say personal, what do you want? And all these things, not what you think you can do, but what do you really want? And let's go after it. In your business, in your personal, in your wellness, physical, mental, spiritual. What do you want? Put those things down on paper, categorize them. You can have 5 under personal, 5 under business, 5 under wellness. I'm going to share mine next week. I'm going to be transparent and let you see that which I have. Now, of course, some of my stuff is a little lofty at this point, because once you hit certain milestones, they get bigger. Someone asked me the other day, is like, how much money do you want? I said, man, I almost don't have a number anymore because I have so many things I want to do. So that's crazy when you think about it, But I do know that what I have is not enough. And so that means that whatever I'm doing is working, but not to the full potential that I have what I want. So that means I got to keep working. All right. And that last phrase, what do you want? That's what I want to hear about next week. All right. So if you can, between now and next Thursday, and I know we got a holiday weekend coming, but I would love for you to have this sent to me. Let me review it, go over it. Now, guys, stuff like this is stuff I'm doing because I want to do it to help you be better. It's not something I'm throwing in, not trying to charge. I just want to see where you're at and see how I can help. Okay. Next thing is don't go it alone. I got you. I promise. What do you need to get done? Let's work on it together. Let's see how we can develop some plans. Of course, you guys are on my coaching page, $99 a month. I think it's a steal for the information that we're going to give to you and get to you over the next couple of months, next year. Okay. One-on-one. This is where a lot of you have talked about this. I know for some of you, it's like, well, I don't know, but there's many that can attest that they've sat with me and did a month and their life has changed. And they're finding out now that they just need someone in their ear to help them, because my goal is to help you not only be better as a person, which I know some people do, which is great, but I want to see the results. And so I'm going to stick with you and ride with you until we get those results. Okay. But the one-on-one sessions are huge. They help because they get individualized. Starting a new business, 0 to 30 days, $24.99. We take care of everything. We help you get through all the stuff that you need to get your business up and off the ground. I connect you with the people that will get you in the right place a lot sooner. All right, guys, my goal is to get you further, faster. Just know I love you. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that jazz. Stay blessed, stay true. I look forward to talking to you again next week. Those that have the schedule to do so. I will be trying to make sure I get these up sooner than later, so that way you guys can review them. But other than that, good night, guys. Be blessed. All the way from South Carolina. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Be blessed.
All right.
Night, guys.